Hello and welcome to a new episode on the podcast Beware. My name is Janik Henneberger, and this is the 7th episode of the holiday special. I will share with you today my way to Machu Picchu. The way starts at the 21st January. It was a Sunday. There I was waiting 7:30 in the office of my agency. I was waiting on my bus to get to Machu Picchu. It means to get to aguas calientes. It is the village that is the nearest village from Machu Picchu. So I waited there like for 1.5 hours until all the people were in the bus and we could leave Cusco. More or less the journey to Machu Picchu at least 5 to 7 hours, depends on how the weather is. The roads are a bit of an adventure, but let's talk about that in a minute. I repeat myself like I said in the last episode, visit Peru in April to August, because there's so much rain, and because of that rain, there are many landslides in the mountains, and on the tracks you need to pass to get to Aguas Calientes. So that month are a better time to visit Peru or Machu Picchu. Now let's talk about the roads. From Cusco, you go up and down the mountains with your bus like 3 hours. At one point you get into a smaller track and that track you spend like the next 2 hours, and the tracks get smaller and smaller and even more smaller and thinner. And at some point you see like the cliff right next under your window, and there's no protection that your bus don't fall down. But you can avoid that problem or the dangerous situation if you go by train. If you take the train from Cusco or from the next station that is near Cusco, it's more expensive, but it's faster, it's more comfortable, and a lot safer. And there is another thing. The buses don't drive directly to Aguas Calientes. They stop at Hidroelectrica, and then you need to walk like 2 hours to Aguas Calientes along the railway tracks. But also you can take the train in Hidroelectrica until Aguas Calientes. I recommend to take the walk. It's not easy, but vale la pena, like you say in Espanol, but it's worth. On the way you get to know the nature, which is very beautiful because it's the beginning of the selva, of the rainforest. Now to the way. Like I said, you walk 2 hours. It's a bit exhausting, but it's not very steep. Everybody can make it if your bags aren't that heavy. It's equal how fit you are. Your t-shirt or your whole clothes will be wet when you are in Aguas Calientes because the climate is more humid, like in the rainforest. The way you have to go is wonderful. There are butterflies, birds, flowers in every color, big trees and all shades of green. I like that way to Aguas Calientes very, very much. Take a look at Aguas Calientes. It's the nearest village from Machu Picchu where all tours start. In the village there are no cars, no motor taxis, and you only can reach it by train or foot. In the village is everything you need, but it's a bit more expensive than usual. Still, it's a little bit more expensive than in Europe or Germany. But there is every kind of room and food for every price class. So I was eating in the market. There was a menu like for 1.5 euros. You have like a soup and the main dish. I don't know if I would recommend that to somebody who is not used to Peruvian food. To that time I was used to Peruvian food because I stayed 6 months until this day. If you eat in the market, be careful. That's my only advice I can give to you. My room I had for 2 days in Aguas Calientes was so far my best room on my journey. Hot water, big bed, it was quiet, no noise. I was very lucky with the room. I washed my clothes. I had some dinner, then I was going to bed, but before my guide stepped by, visit me, and explained how the next day would be. He said me our meeting point, the gate of the entrance, so the gate of Machu Picchu. After that, I hit the bed because you have to get up on the road at 4 a.m. in the morning to reach the first point of security before most of the other people, so you don't have to wait that long. And I would recommend to really get up at 3:30 and walk at 4, even if you can make the way in 20 minutes, but if you're first, you're first. Then you walk 1 hour up in the rainforest to the mountain of Machu Picchu. If you're fast, you can do it in less time. I did it more or less in 20 minutes. There was a guy who did it in 25 minutes. If I was at the entrance gate, all my clothes were wet, and because I was sweating, but also it was raining, I was under the first 10 people on the gate, but then I had to wait on my guide. So don't hurry. Enjoy the walk up. Look at the stairs. When you go up, imagine how many people walked there before you, and imagine how the nature at the time of the Incas was and what stories the trees can tell you if they could speak. Look at the nature, look inside yourself and how you feel in this place. Be aware where you are in this moment on the way to Machu Picchu. I hope you enjoyed this episode in English on the podcast Be Aware. I'm Janik Henneberger, and give me some feedback if you liked the episode. Peace be with you. You're Janik.